Jackie Dean.
In speaking to the jury service and protection of particulars of jury list information amendment bill, I want to go to the purpose in talking about part one of the bill, which is to improve the administration of jury system and to make life easier for those who are called to sit on a jury service. And as the chair of the Law and Order Committee, we indeed heard a number of submissions on this provision, which seems to have caused some consternation amongst some members of this House, but thankfully there is some good thinking on behalf of the Green Party. And I want to, in particular, congratulate David Clendon, who provides a thoughtful addition to the Law and Order Committee's consideration. And so the provision which provides for excusals from jury service came about, we were told, and I believe, from those people who, over the age of 65, and who the Minister has reminded the House, already has protection under the Juries Act. So they can apply to the registrar for an excusal on a case-by-case basis. They already have that privilege, they already have that ability. But we were told that a number of complaints are made on a regular basis, and again, the Minister told us it amounts to the thousands in a year, to the Minister of Justice herself and also to the Ministry of Justice, a number of complaints from members of the public who are periodically summoned to undertake jury service, and that is despite previous excusals on one or maybe multiple occasions from jury service. Now, that might be because they are over 65, but also, and I think critically here in this House's consideration of this part, it's also because they have another reason. Now, that might be because of a chronic health problem. That person might have mobility problems and might find it extremely difficult to get to the court for perhaps a couple of days jury service or more. Indeed, it might be a permanent disability. So, to me, the consideration of this clause in the Select Committee process was about extending that privilege to those people who, for whatever reason, it might have been because they were over 65 and they felt they had done their bit. Well, why not? Maybe they had done their bit. Or, more importantly, perhaps it might be because it is physically difficult for that person to attend jury service, or indeed they might be suffering from some other chronic illness. And so I'm a little mystified at the attitude of some members in this House who, for some reason, regard this as ageism. It isn't ageism. What it is extending that courtesy, if you like, and privilege, as it has been referred to those members of the public who have previously served and who have previously been excused from jury service, the ability to have a permanent excusal. And so what that means is when they get a letter in the post which says you have been called to jury service, they don't need to go down to the courthouse, or they don't need to write a letter in return or make the phone call yet again to the registrar of the court to explain their circumstances yet again and to ask for an excusal from jury service yet again. And so, to me, Mr. Chair, this is a clause in Part 1 of this bill which conforms to the purpose of the bill very neatly, and that is to improve the jury system's administration. Now, the benefits, of course, are to those people who want to have permanent excusal, and I've just gone over those. But, of course, there are benefits to the court's registrar as well. We are in the 21st century now. The courts are modernising. There are a number of pieces of legislation, including this one, which is enhancing the operation of our courts. And to me, this, quite apart from the human element, where if somebody is over 65 and for whatever reason, and it can be a very personal reason, that person had, Mr. Chair, Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it could be a very personal reason why that person over 65 wishes to have it excused. I don't want to have to be in the situation if I were over 65 and I had a medical condition. I don't want to have to tell a court registrar time and time and time again about my personal circumstances. I think it is a much more humane, and it is privilege. The Minister has said it, and I agree with her. It is a privilege which we can extend to people in those circumstances. If we can do that for people, that is good. So, Mr. Chair, that is just one part of this part one of this bill. It does not propose to reintroduce an age limit for jury service. We had some interesting submissions on that, and quite frankly, I think that the clause has been misunderstood. So, with that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to start